Hello and welcome. This is Out Motorsports. My name is Jake and I'm coming to you from a hotel balcony, but it's not just any hotel balcony. I'm coming to you from a condo balcony at Spring Mountain Motorsports Ranch right outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. And I don't know if you can see the cars that are kind of over that way far behind me, but I'm here to drive the C8 Chevy Corvette around the track for a full day of track time. And that is something that came about because Chevrolet called me up and said, hey, we've got some spaces open. We would love to have you come out to Spring Mountain and see what a new Corvette owner gets to experience when they buy a car from a dealership. So Spring Mountain is a motorsport resort of sorts where you can buy in and be a member if you live here in the area. And you can have a condo on the property, you can have a house on the property, you can store your cars here and come and do up to 16 track days a month. So really cool if you live in the area, but if you don't live in the area, Spring Mountain also offers these performance driving schools. It's called the Ron Fellows Performance Driving School, and you get a far discounted rate if you buy a new C8 Corvette from a dealership. This is not something that's new with the C8. They started it, I think, with the C6 or C7. But in any case, it's a great way to get acclimated with your new Corvette in a safe, controlled manner and learn all about the performance driving elements of the car. Because let's face it, dealerships aren't doing that sort of thing. They're gonna make sure your seat is in the proper position, make sure your phone is paired to the infotainment system, and then they're gonna send you on your way, and you're gonna be driving a car that is very, very capable, incredibly fun in the right hands with the right sort of driver behind the wheel. And you may not know a whole lot about what you're doing with a car that's got as much capability as a Corvette or, most other modern sports cars. So Chevrolet has offered this program, and it will cost you as a new Corvette owner only $1,000 plus your airfare. That includes your lodging here on the property. You get to use one of the driving school's cars for a driving program, and they will tailor the program to your experience level. So if you've never ever been on a racetrack, they will give you the basics. If you've done track days, if you do time trials, wheel-to-wheel racing, whatever, and just want to have some fun with your new Corvette, they can do that for you as well. So that is what this program is. We're here to see a little bit more about it. And today we will be driving on the East course, which you can see right here behind me. And that is one of 3 current course configurations. There's west, east, and then a north-south in the middle. The one we're driving on today is a little over 2 miles in length, but the track in general is a little over 6 miles in length if you connect all the circuits. Really excited to be here. We're gonna take a look at the C8 and get on the track and see how it drives. All right, so we got through the first 2 exercises of the morning. In my case, we started off with a Quasi-Autocross. We were trying to clip cones as best we could. It was all about looking out your windows and not using the windshield, because most drivers drive really to the edge of the hood if they even look that far ahead. So they try to get your head on a swivel and get you as close to these cones as you can get. We eventually covered the windshield to try and do a run like that, which was pretty fun. You actually don't need to look right out the windshield for that. And then got to pick up the pace there a hair. Then we went over and did the emergency braking maneuver. So it's kind of a wet ABS stopping exercise where at the last minute they'll tell you left or right. You have to pick which way you go. And then now we are at the dry oval skid pad exercise. So this is just getting a feel for the tires, the grip of the car. They're really doing a lot to kind of ratchet up your level of confidence with this car instead of just throwing you out on a hot track and saying go for it. So for this exercise, I'm gonna have an instructor in the car with me, coaching me through this to get more and more speed as we do a few more laps. So here we go.
So use the orange cones.
Yeah.
The first one on approach, that's your turning cone. What I'm looking for more in a timing aspect is for it to be at your front bumper.
Okay.
And then you turn. So you're like connecting the dot in a way. Good. Squeeze it back to it. Go, go, go. Buddy, braking. Nice. Very good. I like the relaxed grip also. Now squeeze it. Very smooth. Nice job.
This really wants to rotate. It's nice.
Yeah. Looking left. Eyes up to your next turn. Squeeze it back on.
And 1 minute. 1 minute.
All right, so it's after lunch. We are back in the cars, and we did a sighting session earlier before lunch, but now we're gonna go out and get some actual hot lap track time. So they've got us kind of in groups based on skill levels, so we can move at a pretty decent pace here. Confirmed the fact that if you wanna get right up on the bumper and push, they will go faster. So we're gonna try and go a little bit quicker this time. After the session, we were inside, reviewed all of our video from the performance data recorder built into the car, and found some spots where each of us can go a little quicker. So we're gonna head back out and away we go. and as we're driving over to the track, it's pretty wild. They have over 100 new C8 Corvettes here. Really, everywhere you turn your head, there's just more of them. So they can run this program on 3 different chunks of track in the same day, so they have to have enough cars to support all of that.
So third gear, looking right. I'll start picking up speed on exit. Looking ahead for a braking done. Pressure established. Downshift done on time. Now looking through the corner, try to look for the exit. Lead out of pressure, start going back to power to stable head. Full throttle. Breathe to turn in. Top of the hill. Firm initial. Look to the right. Now it's easy to start getting comfortable getting a little progressive on brake up to 3, so make sure that we're braking just a little harder initially. Right braking in, looking in left. Gradually tighten, notice my brake hold. Almost to the apex. Roll the power, all the way out. Good. Bring it in, look to the back. Put that third gear downshift. Early back to power. Braking at the split in asphalt, continue looking right.
Alright, I'm doing this voiceover style because narrating while my instructor talked on the radio was pretty impossible. The footage you see here is from the Corvette's Performance Data Recorder, or PDR, which uses the car's front-facing camera and various sensors to create this sort of video all on its own. It gets stored on an SD card in the glove box, and you can pop that out right into your laptop. Now, as we complete this first lap of the E-Circuit of Spring Mountain, let's get into the second lap and talk about how the C8 Corvette handles on the track. All of the cars we drove had the Z51 package with Magneride, and we had the car set to Sport for a drive mode. Coming into this second turn, I had to lift throttle a little bit to keep the chassis settled according to the instructor. They said factory aero would not have allowed the cars to be super stable right there through the dip in the asphalt at full throttle. Coming up into this braking zone and into the turn-in, there were a few spots, this one included, where looking back I could have dropped the DCT to 3rd gear instead of using 4th to keep the revs up a little bit higher and have the engine in its happy place making more power. It really comes alive above roughly 4,000 RPM. You feel that power swell from the 6.2, and it makes all of its peaky happy power up at the top of the revs. Now, turn-in everywhere is really precise and easy. The C8 is mid-engine and it wants to rotate, and it's just so effortless, unless you really carry way too much speed into the corner, where it will of course understeer, as every car does. If you do get into that understeer, lift up for a second on the throttle and the nose will tuck right back in where you want it. From there you can either mat the throttle to induce a little bit of a drift, or roll back into it carefully to keep your traction where you want it. The Z51 package includes an electronically controlled limited slip diff that locks up more or less based on throttle input, so use that information as you will. Now we're coming up here again on the braking zone, and braking in these cars was really solid. The Z51 package gives you not only the bigger Brembo brakes, but a different brake pad compound as well. The rotors are bigger on both axles with Z51, and they're the biggest in the rear, which I found a little bit odd. However, the braking was super balanced and stable even when you absolutely stand on the pedals, so great, nicely set up brakes here. And better yet, I never overheated the pads or fluid or got a soft brake pedal. They were very confidence-inspiring all day long in triple-digit heat. The high during this track day was about 108 degrees. Now, as we go through this whole course, you're hearing the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires howl. Those tires are unique to the Z51 package. And in this case, a screaming tire is actually a happy tire. The grip was abundant almost everywhere, unless, as I did a few times, you drive like a total ding-dong and blow your corner entry. Visibility on the track or on the street is very important with any car, but on the track you really need good forward visibility so you can see everything coming at you. And in the C8, visibility ahead of you is really great. That is partially due to the car being mid-engine. There's no engine up front, so the nose can be short, it can be sloped, and you've got some really nice visibility ahead of you. Visibility rearward is not so great given the car's general shape, but on a track you shouldn't be looking backward that much in the first place. The digital rear view mirror and the traditional side view mirrors are good enough for track use. You can see whoever's coming up if anyone is there in the first place. Now, the Z51 package adds a lot of important bits if you're tracking the car often. You've got bigger brakes, the different suspension, whether you get Magneride or not, different differential ratio. A lot of those things are pretty key here, and in my case, I would definitely buy the car with the Z51 package. The Magneride adaptive suspension is also pretty impressive, mostly because of that Jekyll and Hyde effect that you get on the street versus on the track between Sport and Tour and all the different drive modes, but I don't know if I'd say it's required for track use. It's certainly a good option. Now, cost-wise, the Z51 package adds about $6,000 to any Corvette. You can have it on any trim from the 1LT all the way up to the 3LT. And Magneride is a separate option whether you have the Z51 or not. Magneride is another $1,900 whether you have Z51 or not. And again, both of those can be had on any trim level of Corvette and on either body style, whether you get the coupe that we were driving here or the convertible that I was driving on the street. That is it for this time. Thank you so much for coming along. As always, please be sure to subscribe right here on YouTube. Give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're looking to connect with other LGBT automotive enthusiasts and motorsports competitors, head over to outmotorsports.com. We have a whole community over there, and we would love to meet you. Till next time, please stay safe, be well, and we'll see you for the next one.
So, hard down.